Good morning. Welcome to the Two Class Report pregame show powered by Sage Media and NYC Prospects. I'm your man, Coach Randy Millard. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to our other co-hosts, Mr. Talk Spicy, Mr. Cha-Ching, and Coach Tone. It was just other obligations. So basically is this. We all know what is transpiring in the city right now. So this is our little, proposition and letting people understand. We will not talk about what is transpiring at Thomas Jefferson. Those student athletes are going through too much as of right now, especially in the last 12 hours. So what we would like to do is show them some love and gratitude. All right. So listen, all student athletes at Thomas Jefferson, please just hold your head. But hey, the show has to move on. So the first game has been canceled, but game number 2 starts at 1 o'clock with Eagle Academy BK versus Brooklyn Collegian. Now, the questions that I've been getting for the whole, I can honestly say 48 hours since BC's last win versus Far Rockaway. Does Brooklyn Collegian have enough heart to beat Eagle Brooklyn? Some people say yes, some people say no. And then there's some people who think that Brooklyn Collegian can honestly try to pull an upset. But I think Eagle Academy is thinking otherwise. With Eagle Academy and their defense and their offense moving so smoothly and, defensively, how they're playing physical, can it be too much for BC? That's what people want to know. But the thing about BC is this. Once BC has the game going, that's defensively when they have their different variations of zones, that they play and the half-court set, can it give Eagle some issues? But the moral of the story is this. We will just have at 1 p.m. So if you're coming, that's for the first game. Once again, the game versus Thomas Jefferson in South Shore. The first game at Queens College is at 1 p.m. Eagle Brooklyn versus BC. Now, how about we jump into one of my favorite Final Fours in the whole PSAL? The first game I would love to talk about is Mary Bertram versus Epic South. Now, Epic South last year knocked off Mary Bertram. Epic South had a Cinderella year last year, but not according to Coach Beckles. Coach Beckles last year, he beat Bertram and Lawn Tech, but he ran into Transit Tech in the chip, and it didn't look well. But this year matchup, hey, we just want to know if Eddie Lau and company can show Epic South if it was a fluke last year. And the people want to know. But the thing is this, by me selecting on both games, I really don't know who to choose. So it's kind of one of those games where it can go either way. Now, the next game is a game that we've seen in the Brooklyn 3A 1,000 times. So I think this game is probably 1,044. Lawn Tech versus Transit Tech. Now, is there bad blood? We don't know. But we just know this. In the regular season, both teams split. And when both teams split, they were both close games. But now they're on a neutral site, bigger court. There's no more small courts. So can Ashton and Jaden show Siani and Keyshawn and Kyle who's best? And that's the question of the day. Because if you really think about it, in all honesty, Transit loves to go up and down. Transit likes to get layups and get dunks. But then there's Lawn Tech, who locks in defensively, hits threes, and their guard play is just simply amazing. They have 3 scorers who garnered over 1,000 points in their career at Lawn Tech. So this Lawn Tech versus Transit game, it can go either way as well. Now we're going to go into 2A. The 2A coach, Will Jackson at Benjamin Banneker, he has showed his will. He has showed his grit for the past damn near 20 seasons. He's been there for a long time. And he's playing against the boys from the Lower East Side with Coach Katie. So Seward Park, they've had some great wins. They've beat Bedford Academy and our event and no Optic Just Hoops. And that's like the same thing with Banneker. Banneker showed another team whose boss, who I can't mention, and who's really out the playoffs. But this game right here is just another game of who wants it more. Seward Park guard play has been simply amazing. Banneker plays defense. They hit threes, and they just play physical and tough when it matters in fourth. So this Banneker, Seward Park game, it's a either way game as well. The next game, South Bronx Prep, big shout out to Coach Radolph versus AP Randolph. That is Coach Tone's alma mater. Now, South Bronx Prep, they've been to the city chip. They know how it feels to win. AP Randolph is kind of new on the block, but they've been having a kind of a lot of success in Manhattan in the 2A. And they've even almost went far in the Barrows. So in this game right here, it's a it's a Bronx versus Harlem affair. So in my opinion, I'm going to go with probably South Bronx Prep, hopefully by 5. In the Varsity 1A, Brooklyn College Academy has been having their own way all year. They beat Transit Tech twice this year, in the preseason and in the Barrows. But BCAU play against Baruch College with Steve Padias, who used to coach at Brooklyn College. And his X's and O's is none like no other in the city, possibly in the state. So, Coach Pitts, you use Brooklyn College Academy. But guess what? The coach from Baruch, he used to coach at Brooklyn College. So this is really the battle of Brooklyn College and who's the best coach. Now, in the last game in the 1A, you have Giorgio Luperin, new kids on the block. Giorgio Luperin has been making a ton of noise in the 1A. Big team, 6'5", 6'6", 6'4", that's front line, versus Spring Creek campus, who has been to the big dance, versus last year's champ, Scholars Academy. So Spring Creek, are you going to use this game to get over the hump to get back in the chip and win the chip? But no, word on the street is that Giorgio Luperin has something to say. Now I'm about to go to the girls' side real quick, and then I'm going to accept some questions from, that's the YouTube, and I will live on Instagram at NYC Prospects. Now the first game, South Shore versus Grand Street. South Shore has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, like 7 in a row. 7 in a row. And Grand Street is kind of making some noise. But do you think Grand Street has enough to beat South Shore? We just have to find out at 5 o'clock. Then we have Ari Marcedo versus Jordana Schechter. Family Academy versus New Dorp. Will Staten Island prevail? Or will Family Academy play either South Shore or Grand Street? And then in the 3A, I don't know what it is about the 3A, but the 3A playoffs on the both boys and the girls side kind of features that's the same teams. Mary Burcham girls, who've had a great year in Manhattan, will play a tough metropolitan campus out of Queens. And then we have Brooklyn Lawn Tech girls, featured by head coach Mike Lloyd, versus South Bronx Prep. Shout out to Coach Buck. Now, that game is going to be probably that's the tougher game, and who knows? Will it be Bertram versus Lawn Tech, or will it be Metro Campus versus South Bronx Prep? We really don't know. You will just have to see today. Then we have in the 2A, Mega Evers Prep, the number 1 seed, has been steamrolling through the competition in the playoffs. But they will face a number 13 seed in Uncommon Charter. Now, Uncommon has picked up some very big wins, and they're looking to make a statement today. Then we have Mont Haven out of the Bronx versus Construction. Big shout out to Coach Sal. Now, Construction is a number 2 seed, and they've been making a lot of great strides throughout the season. They only had 1 forfeit on a subject matter that we can't talk about, but that forfeit did not stop anything. But now the thing is this, can the Bronx show Queens how tough it is? Or can Coach Sal and company beat Mount Haven? Then lastly, we have Summit Academy out of Red Hook, Brooklyn. Tough Inwood campus team. Inwood Academy is one of the better 1A teams in the 5 Barrows. And they have a freshman named Mia, who's probably like 6'6". Now I'm gassing it. She's probably like 6'1", 6'2", 14 years old, and she can hit the 3. But also at Summit has all of the toughest guards probably in the 1A who know how to put the ball in the basket, and that's defend. Then we have Thurgood Marshall out of 135th in Harlem versus School of the Future. And I'm going to go with TMA because there's something about TMA this year who's been really tapped into the show, but just more so having a great understanding of, hey, it's my time and I want to win. So that is your rundown. That's for today and tomorrow. Because as you should know, Eagle Bronx will be playing Stevenson tomorrow night here at Queens College at 7 p.m. Now, I would take any questions that anyone have to ask. But before you ask any questions, please be respectful and please have an understanding that this is live. And if your question is outrageous, I'm going to call you out. So, Dre, are there any questions on the YouTube so far? How about on the IG Live? Ain't no questions yet. So, I'm going to say this, right? And I want people to really understand. We can't really say it's about the kids when both parties have to be held accountable. And that's from the adult end, and that's the kids end, right? Student athletes, you're a student first, and then you're an athlete. But administrators, the one thing that you have to understand is this. You also have to ensure that your paperwork and stuff is together as well. So everything, it goes hand in hand, right? Because it's this, and it's the last thing I'm going to say about just, that's the PSAL in itself. The PSAL is making strides to show not only that's the city, but the state is that this is a well-ran organization. And it doesn't only take the people the individuals and the representative who work in the PSAL that's to get it done. It takes media outlets such as NYC Prospects, Sage Media, and it's also other influences outside of the PSAL just to hold each other accountable. And it has to be done now. Go ahead. Do we think Lee Churchy did the correct thing? And in many people's eyes, a lot of people say no, and in many people's eyes, some people say yes. But the thing about Lee Church is this, right? It couldn't have been just a soul on his decision. Like Lee Church, he has a team of representatives that he has to interact and talk to. And you have to think about it as this. This is like a quick turnaround to even trying to get something done. So, and the answer is 50-50. It could be yes, it can be no. It's just how you feel about it. Okay. Yeah, because, Lee Church, he's the boys basketball executive, he just runs what's going on the boys side. But guess what? There's actual levels and tiers that people have to go through and talk to. Because I'm not going to lie to you, that was a tough decision that had to be made. And then there's some of us who aren't capable or tough enough to even fathom on saying, you know what, it's going to happen like this. Oh, no, it needs to happen like this. So are there other questions? How can we help the city evolve? Honestly, is by doing this. How about we just stop having bad narratives, right? Because for the last 10 hours, I've been getting number of phone calls, tweets, DMs about rumors. Oh, I've heard. Oh, you've heard. Don't worry about what you're hearing. Don't worry about what you don't know. The only thing that we need to worry about is, are these kids, are these student athletes, are being held accountable, and are they doing their work, and are they going to school? Because that's the bigger thing. Think about it. We have kids in the PSAL, student athletes rather, right, who are great academically and socially, and then we have some who aren't. And we're teaching survival because we have to ensure that our student athletes are prepared for the next level, not just on the court, on the field, in the dorms. How about having conversations with provosts and presidents and donors and alums? That should be the focus. Yes.
Do you think the PSAL is going towards becoming a better league?
In my opinion, yes, but also in my opinion, no. The reason why I say yes, because I'm seeing more sternness, in regards to making sure that everything is aligned correctly. But then I'm saying no because a lot of the competition is still kind of lopsided. So it was like, in my opinion, when it comes to basketball, since this is a basketball platform, right, there are a lot of 1A schools who shouldn't be in 1A. And there are a lot of 2A schools who shouldn't be in 2A. I just feel as there needs to be more super leagues, more competitiveness in the PSAL. Because it gets boring, that's to see lopsided games in one conference, and this coach or this individual is gloating about, oh, I won by 60, I won by 50, but then you're outed in the first round. We need more tougher showcases and more, tougher leagues, honestly. Who's holding the adults accountable? Such as individuals as like myself. I feel like, honestly, a lot of adults, we get it misconstrued at times. And the reason being why I say that, because it's this. We're so focusing on wins. We're so focusing on gaining chips where we're forgetting how to teach our student athletes to be academically and socially sound. And it's to the point, that's where it's that is this, right? I see with NYC Prospects, Sage Media, and all the other basketball media outlets, we have more coaches posting. We have more programs, becoming more interactive. But then it's this, we don't see a lot of programs talking about their team GPA. We don't see them talk about, how many kids have graduated in their cohort in their time at certain schools. And then we don't talk about, all the post work, talking about, how many kids in their program is playing at the Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, USC, AAO, whatever collegiate basketball level that they're playing at. Coaches are, okay, again? Ja? Are coaches responsible? Yes and no. The reason why I say yes, because a coach is supposed to do their part in ensuring that your student athlete is doing what they have to do off the court and that's on the court, right? But then coaches can't be solely on them. When at the end of the day, it takes a village to ensure that what is needed for the student athlete is taken care of. There's too much of the, it's the coach's fault. It's the coach's fault. No, parents, guardians, teachers, start utilizing, the extra resources as well, to understand about the whole dynamic of getting a kid qualified, understand, that's the resources on, just making sure that a kid knows what's needed to be prepared as for the next level. Question. Why are college coaches aren't recruiting a New York City kid? I'll be honest, college coaches are recruiting our kids. But the thing is, we're so caught up in the, why isn't a Division I school? Why isn't Kentucky? Why isn't Duke? Why isn't St. John's? No. A lot of the student athletes might not can play at that level. And there are levels for our student athletes that they can flourish in. And it's too many adults who want to push that agenda of, I think you could play Big East. Oh, no, I think you could play in the NEC. Well, for some student athletes, they can. And for some, they can't. So why not steer them in a direction that, that has their best interests? Because think about it, and then it would eliminate the whole, I have to transfer. I have to leave. I'm a guard, but they're bringing another guard. Steer the student athlete in a direction that best fits them. Okay. All right. So with the Thomas Jefferson, that situation, right? I'm not going to get into the subject matter because it's not my place. But I'm going to say this. Thomas Jefferson beat Stevenson and they beat Eagle Bronx in this past week. So since they're not in the playoffs anymore, the winner of Eagle Bronx and Stevenson has to play South Shore. And that game will have a date and time by today.
What are your thoughts on one kid from the PSAL being committed?
My thoughts, only one kid being committed. I think it's a travesty, and I think it hurts us, the PSAL, and the stock of knowing that we have student athletes who can play at the next level. And when people say commit and they only say D1, no. Why won't we glorify a kid who's committing D2, who's committing D3? We shouldn't just have this mindset and notion of, if that kid only commits to D1, if he doesn't commit D1, he's not good. No, there are some D2s and D3s that are great. There are some JUCOs that a kid may need to flourish and play at the next level. Some student athletes might have to go prep, and that's okay. But only one, that's tough and it hurts. And how about we be honest now? We have some seniors in this 2024 class who will commit very soon. So it might go from 1 probably to 4. All right. So in the last 10 minutes of the show, right, I just want to give like a big shout out to Sage Media. That's my man Dre. You know, him and I have been interacting for the past year and a half about doing something major, something creative. I want to give a big shout out to my brothers and my uncle who couldn't be here, the OG Two Claps, Dave, aka Cha-Ching, and Mr. Talk Spicy. And the reason why, you know, that's the show is like this as of right now is because we can't kick a program down. I know a lot of you wanted us to go live last night. I know a lot of you wanted us to go off and talk about kids and what should and what shouldn't they do. That's not us. And it will never be us. And the reason being because there are some kids who are being stirred in the wrong direction. There are some kids who need help. And we are those type of guys. You know, like we're not here to be, you know, funny all the time. It's funny because when Ching said the other day, you know, we just having a conversation, he was like, when we go gospel mode, some people don't want to hear it. Well, guess what? 9 times out of 10, gospel mode is needed. And the OG Two Clap said it best. We don't run from the truth and we tell the truth. And the truth is this. We need to create better narratives, not only for New York City basketball, but how about just life in general? We all have to think about it here. Some of us played in the PSAL. Some of us know how it works. Some of us, you know, had good experiences. Some of us may have bad. But despite the experience that you had, understand, you need to help the next student athlete have a better experience than you had. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I played at a high school. My senior year, we went 1-13. I'm not going to sit here and cap. I ain't going to sit here in front. I'm not even going to say the school name. But the thing I'm going to say is this. The one thing I learned from going 1-13 in my senior year of high school is this. You have to make it work in your favor in the long run. Because we're letting our student athletes run away from adversity. No, adversity is a part of their journey, and that's needed. And then we also just have to teach accountability, knowing that what's right and what's needed. So, and it's like perfect example, and then I'm gonna come next for the question. And then that's perfect example. At the collegiate level, right? If a team is winning and they win a chip and some allegations come out, banners are taken away. Scholarships are taken away, right? But nobody isn't thinking about it in that nature. Ask the question. Why is the championship game not played at the Barclays? We don't know what the Munyon situation is. We don't know. We just know that the game is going to be played at St. John's on a Friday night on the 15th. You know, we will be there supporting, seeing what's going on. But hey, you know, it's not going to be at the Barclays nor the Garden. It's going to be at the Lou Carnesecca Arena at St. John's University. Okay, now I will be taking only 2 to 3 more questions. Okay? So Dre, ain't no questions? How about you? Ain't no questions? So in the last 5 minutes of the show, we just want to thank all of the student athletes and the programs who are participating in the Final Four. Hey, I'm going to say this. Your game may start at 1 o'clock, but your season might end at 1:30. It depends on your gameplay. Some of you may survive and get to see another day. It's all about how much you want it. It's all about really, with that last loose ball, are you going to get it? Because the last time that we were here, we watched a young man hit a fadeaway going out of bounds off the glass. So, if you want to win, you're going to play hard. If you just here, just to be here for the ambiance and the environment, and just to say that you was here, 9 times out of 10, you will be a spectator. And you don't want to be a spectator. So, my word of advice is this. Stay focused, stay ready, stay prepared. And besides that, this is it. I can't hear you. That's the final predictions? Okay. I wasn't going to do this, but I gave my rundown, all because Dre, he suckered me into doing this again. So, Eagle versus BC. Eagle versus BC. BC, you're 0-3. You're 0-3, son. You're 0-3. You're 0-3. Oh, man. Spoke to my man. He said, yo, it can be an upset. I'm going to go Eagle. I'm going to just go Eagle. I already know the powers that be. Now, in the 3A, Epic South versus Bertram. That's going to be a tough one. You know what? I feel like Mike Beckles, he's going to do it again. I'm going Epic South. Lawn Tech versus Transit Tech. That's a trap game. Nope, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. John, are the people mad at me? Good, thank you very much. Because, I can't do it. I ain't going front. You know what? 3-8, scrap that. I can't do both games. Both games are tough. We really don't know. So I'm not going to pick Epic South, nor that's Bertram. I'm going to keep it, I'm going to keep it simple. Stevenson Eagle? Yo, who asked that question? Nobody. That's crazy. Eagle Bronx. I'm going to go Eagle Bronx. Eagle Bronx, South Shore? South Shore. By how much? South Shore by 5.
Eagle Bronx, South Shore, championship.
It'll be Eagle Brooklyn. Eagle Brooklyn versus South Shore? Yeah, that's later because I know I want to piss Smoke off anyway. That's my brother. Who? I don't have a pick a side for the 3A. First and foremost, I'm about to be cocky for a second. We got the 3A lit. Right, Dre? We got the 3A lit. Like, come on, I don't got to pick a side. Y'all want me to pick a side. So I can be like, oh, you said no. I'm not picking. Nope, I'm Gucci. 2A, Banneker versus Seward Park. I'm not picking that game either. I got to watch that game. I got to be there. I got to figure out a way to get it, to be there. Coach Katie versus Coach Jackson. I love both of them. They love me back. I just got to figure it out. Now, Coach Radar versus AP Randolph. I'm not picking that game neither. I got to watch that game. I don't care. Dre Ja, I don't care. BCA versus Baruch College. I'm not picking that game neither. May the best man wins. Lubrant versus Spring Creek. Spring Creek, we like 20 minutes away from them. Ja, right? Brownsville, East New York. May the best man win. Yeah. So, ladies, I'm not picking your games neither because the whole city knows each outcome. We're hoping for upsets. That's all we have to say. But besides that, this is the wrap up. Big shout out to Sage Media. Big shout out to NYC Prospects. We will be doing this again very soon. And this time, all of us, we will be here. So, I had to fill in, show everybody, that that's what's up. And that's just what it is. Yes. What's next for NYC Prospects and Sage Media? Counting Mignon, steak dinners, bigger and better events. Dre and our CEO was thinking about doing like the PSAL version of ESPN Game Day. So next year, who knows? You might see us in suits. I might be like the Lee Corso. I might pull out a mascot's head, put it on my head. Let's go such and such. Everybody go crazy, that's cool stuff like that. But besides that, New York City, we love you. PSAL, we here for the day. Big shout out to Sage Media, NYC Prospects. Peace. The Two Claps Report.